Big circles are not drawn in one stroke. Sure, you can do it, but that's like driving a Ferrari to the store across the street. Looks cool, totally unnecessary. We follow Occam's razor. Don't overcomplicate stuff for no reason. So we build the circle in pieces, arcs, not one magic line. Then we erase, adjust, and clean it up. For the rest of the daredevils, there will be a separate video on how to draw a circle in one move. Iris and pupil. Draw the iris using the same method as before, just like the eyeball, with arcs, not in one stroke. Inside it is a black hole where light goes to die. This is the pupil. And yes, it should be right in the center of the iris. One clean line? Awesome. Not happening today? No problem. Use arcs like before. Eyelids and planar construction. Now we draw the upper and lower eyelids, thinking of them like the shape of parallelogram. Eye openings come in all kinds of shapes, but the shape of parallelogram idea stayed the same. Next, we cut off the corners of the parallelogram. In some cases, this is optional. Here we are setting up light and shadow, more on that in shading. These break the soft roundness into clear facets. Caruncle and epicantic fold. Don't forget the caruncle! And yes, there are different eye variations, including eyes with an epicantic fold. The epicantic fold is curved, crystal-shaped skin fold that partially covers the caruncle. It's common in most babies regardless of race and appears more often in Asians. This is related to the structure of the brow ridge and the bridge of the nose. The lower and flatter these bones are, the more likely the fold is to appear. As we grow, the nose bridge and the brow ridge develop, stretch the skin, and the epicantic fold often disappears. Then we add thickness to the eyelids. This step is huge. It shows whether an artist actually understands form. Bonus: it instantly makes the drawing look more pro, because the viewer can read 3D shapes on a flat 2D page way easier. Remember, all of this still sits on the sphere, the eyeball we started with. Cornea. The cornea is criminally underrated. People either forget it or confuse it with the iris. Just as for the cornea, my friends. The cornea is the clear layer on the top of the iris. It creates the main highlights and slightly pushes the eyelids apart where it sits. In profile, it's drawn as a convex line. From the other angles, it's indicated only by highlights. Brow ridge area. Now we are coming back to the socket around the eyeball. By this region, I mean the whole structural area above the eye socket. Let's build the brow ridge area. The number of planes depends on the form. Some brow ridge areas can be read as 3 planes, others as 2. The goal is to simplify the roundness into clear planes to show depth on a flat surface. Shading. Alright, picture is done, time to shade. What's the eye made of? A sphere and a bunch of planes around it. Now the fun part, the iris. This is where the eye color lives. The iris is slightly pushed inward, which is why the highlight on the cornea usually sits over the darkest part of the iris. Great contrast, chef's kiss. The pupil controls how much light hits the retina by expanding and contracting. Hatching pass. I lightly lifted all the planes with an eraser, so the hatching goes down smoother. I am starting from the top, so I don't smudge the drawing under my hand. And I'm following the same planes we mapped out earlier. I'm hatching the eyeball from the inner and outer corners. Upper lid casts shadow. The lower lid gets hatched the same way, a across those three planes. And now I'm going back into deepening the shadows. That's exactly how your shading should work. And that's it. Congrats, we drew an eye. Everything else is optional. Brows and lashes, you can skip them. Why? Because structures come first. You don't build a house starting with the curtains and flower pots. Okay, brows. Brows vary a lot, just like eye shapes. But usually they are one arc split into two parts, the body and the tail of the brow. The body is denser, the tail is more variable. Alright, let's put this into practice. Eyelashes. Eyelashes can vary like crazy from person to person, from short, sparse, pointing down, to long, thick, curling up. I'm guessing we're aiming for the second one. Lashes are thin arcs. They end with the little hooks because of perspective. If you're unsure, practice on a separate sheet first. You can even start by drawing each lash individually. Shorter and fewer toward the inner corner, longer and thicker toward the outer corner. Bottom lashes are shorter and more sparse. Draw them in clusters, not like a comb. Some wonkiness is totally fine. They are not symmetrical. Now, let's get back to our eye and finish it up. Step by step, we broke down the eye with a focus on understanding form, not copying lines. This gives you freedom to draw anything, even straight from your imagination. If something didn't work, no stress. In the next video, I will break down the 5 most common eye drawing mistakes. See you there! Alright, who here can...